If you look at LinkedIn right now, there is a massive exodus happening. Top tier C-suite executives are walking away from massive salaries, stock options, and corner offices. And everyone is asking, why are people leaving corporate jobs? The media will tell you it's about quiet quitting or wanting to work from home. But if you're a senior executive, you know that's completely false. First, we're going to talk about the death of corporate loyalty, why companies are laying off their most experienced leaders despite posting record profits. Then we're going to address the elephant in the room, corporate ageism, and why your 30 years of rich, deep experience is suddenly viewed as a liability instead of an asset. We also need to talk about the exhaustion of the modern corporate structure, how endless alignment meetings have completely killed the ability to actually execute strategy. And finally, I'll explain why the fractional economy has become the ultimate safe haven for top-tier talent. Let's get into it. You've seen it happen to peers, and maybe you're feeling it yourself. You've spent decades building your career. You've sacrificed your evenings, your weekends, and maybe even your health for the company. And for a long time, the W-2 model worked. You gave them loyalty, and they gave you security. But that contract is now broken. If you want to know why people are leaving corporate jobs, the answer is simple. The W-2 model is no longer safe for senior executives. The risk to reward ratio has completely flipped. You're taking on 100% of the stress and 100% of the risk of being laid off, but your upside is capped by a 3% annual raise? Executives aren't leaving because they're lazy. They're leaving because they're smart. And they're looking at the macro trends and realizing the only true security is owning your own pipeline. Let's break down the 4 macro trends driving this massive executive exodus. The first trend is the death of corporate loyalty. 10 years ago, if you were a high-performing executive who hit your numbers, your job was safe. Today, that's no longer true. We're seeing companies post record-breaking profits on a Tuesday and laying off 15% of their senior leadership on Wednesday just to appease Wall Street and bump the stock price by a fraction of a percent. Executives are waking up to the reality that they are just a line item on a spreadsheet. When you rely on one company for 100% of your income, you are incredibly vulnerable. One bad quarter, one activist investor, or one brand new CEO who wants to bring in their own people, and your whole entire livelihood is wiped out. Executives are leaving because they realize that diversifying their income across 3 or 4 fractional clients is infinitely safer than trusting a single corporate board. The second trend, and this is a trend that nobody wants to talk about, this is corporate ageism. You have 30 years of rich, deep experience. You've navigated recessions, managed global teams, and scaled massive divisions. But in the modern corporate world, that experience is increasingly viewed as a liability. Companies look at your salary and think, we could hire 3 28-year-old directors for the price of one 55-year-old VP. They want the title, but they don't want to pay for the wisdom. So they're pushing out the senior talent and replacing them with cheaper, less experienced managers. But here's the irony. Mid-market companies and startups are desperate for that exact wisdom. They don't want a 28-year-old director. They want the battle-tested executive who's seen it all. Executives are leaving corporate because the fractional market actually values and pays a premium for their gray hair and their battle scars. The third reason executives are fleeing, sheer exhaustion of modern corporate structure. You didn't become an executive to sit in meetings all day. You became an executive to build strategy, to drive growth, to solve complex problems. But in today's corporate environment, 80% of your week is spent in alignment. You have pre-meetings to prepare for the actual meeting. You have to build a 40-page slide deck just to get permission to spend $10,000. You spend more time managing internal politics than you do managing the market. And you know what? It's soul-crushing. Executives are leaving because they want to go back to the work they actually love. In the fractional world, there's no corporate bloat. You drop in, you diagnose the problem, you build the strategy, you drive the execution. You get to do the high impact work without any of the friction. The final trend is the rise of the fractional economy as the ultimate safe haven. 5 years ago, leaving corporate meant becoming a consultant and begging for project work. It was risky and it was unpredictable. Today, the fractional model is a recognized, highly respected career path. CEOs understand what a fractional executive is, and they're actively budgeting for them. Executives are leaving corporate because they finally have a viable alternative. They can build a fractional operating system. They can productize their knowledge. They can build a highly profitable practice of one. They get the executive level income, they get the strategic impact, and they get total control over their calendar. It's not an escape, it's an evolution. So when we talk about why people are leaving corporate jobs, we're talking about a rational response to a broken system. It's a response to the death of corporate loyalty and the realization that the W-2 model is inherently risky. It's a rejection of corporate ageism, and it's a pivot to a fractional market that actually values 30 years of deep experience. And it's an escape from the exhaustion of endless alignment meetings and a return to high-impact strategic execution. It's the embrace of the fractional economy as the ultimate safe haven for top-tier talent. When you look at the macro trends, the question isn't why people are leaving. The question is, why is anyone with your level of experience still staying? But here's the catch. To make this transition safely, you can't just quit and hope for the best. You need a system to attract the right clients. If you want to see how to turn this fractional model into a predictable, scalable pipeline of high quality startup clients, go and watch this video next. The system behind the predictable pipeline for fractional executives. In that video, you'll see how to build a cohesive system that brings the right founders to you, even when you're busy delivering client work. Go watch that video next.